Alright, here we have it. Everyone's favorite season 1 episode. For good reason, too. So, what is this episode about if it's so good? Well, basically, in a nutshell, SpongeBob and Squidward are tasked with delivering a pizza after Mr. Krabs gets a request to do so. When they do so, they end up getting lost and have to go on a wacky adventure to deliver the pizza right around the corner. The idea of this alone sounds amazing. SpongeBob and Squidward alone on an adventure together. And of course, it does work, as can be seen by the amount of notoriety that this episode has. You probably have heard about why this episode works so well, because everyone has praised this episode. So, why do I think this episode works well? Well, for starters, the episode's plot construction and how beautifully executed the episode is with the ending, but we'll get to the ending later. We'll, of course, start with the adventure. This part is always remembered for its iconic moments, such as the Krusty Krab pizza song and the SpongeBob dancing on the road with his hat like the pioneers did. Also, the way SpongeBob always has a positive attitude throughout the entire journey, while Squidward contrasts this by always being negative and more realistic, really shows off the well-known dynamic that these two have, with, of course, SpongeBob representing childhood and Squidward representing adulthood. However, with all this said, it's moments like these that make a SpongeBob episode amazing, but it's moments like the ending of this episode that separate the amazing from the most iconic and memorable. The ending of this episode is by far, if not one of my favorite endings to the entire show as a whole. So, what is this ending exactly? Well, what happens is that when SpongeBob and Squidward finally arrive at the house they are delivering to, the guy that asked for the pizza ends up getting angry and yelling at SpongeBob for a mistake he made about not getting his Dr. Kelp. What happens next is that SpongeBob ends up crying, and you can feel the emotion inside of him as his hope of satisfying a customer was crushed. It's like when you try and work so hard to achieve something only for it to come tumbling down into ruin. That is the emotion felt by SpongeBob, all because of a douchebag character made a mistake on his behalf. Luckily though, this broke Squidward into a state of anger just like the audience, and he ended up taking the pizza and smashing it in the customer's face like any rational person would do after seeing their co-worker get yelled at for seemingly nothing. The reason why people remembered truly memorable episodes such as these is because of stuff like this. Well, yes, this show is meant to be funny. I mean, that's what cartoons are for. It's truly great writing like this that helps a viewer continue watching the show even after growing up. Squidward genuinely feeling sympathetic towards SpongeBob and the way he was treated is something we won't see in the modern days, not just in SpongeBob. While yes, the rest of this episode is really amazing with memorable moments, it's the ending of this episode that really makes the episode go down as many people's not just favorite season 1 episode, but favorite episode of all time. This episode easily gets a well-earned 10 out of 10, well above Bubble Stand. But is it my favorite episode of the season or show? I guess we'll have to wait and see.